Hello and welcome. We're live today. How about that? Surprise, surprise, with Ms. Ileane. Yes, Ms. Ileane, that everyone knows. I'm so excited to welcome today on the Mix, Sizzle, and Shake Your Business podcast. Good morning, and how is everyone today? I hope you're doing fine on this beautiful Sunday morning. Well, I don't know if it's beautiful here, it's a little gray, but I hope it's nice wherever you are. I'm Sue Ann with Right Mix for Business, and you're watching the Mix, Sizzle, and Shake Your Business podcast. And I'm not going to waste any time bringing in Ms. Ileane. You might know her from YouTube or any of the social channels. She's a YouTuber, she's a podcaster, she's a blogger, she's an extraordinary person. And I've been friends with her for quite a while now, but this is the first time I'll be talking to her live. And so I'm very excited. I hope everyone will give a warm welcome to Ms. Ileane, Ms. Ileane Smith. And here she is. Well, hello there, young lady.
Hello. I'm so glad that we finally got a chance to chat.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that everyone will, enjoy our conversation.
Ms. Ileane Smith is awesome. She is a pro at what we talked about a couple shows ago with Anthony Genzel about building real relationships for business online. That's exactly what she does. That's exactly why I feel like I already know you, because we've had a relationship online, even though this is the first time we're face to face. So I feel like kind of like we're friends already, which is kind of a nice relaxing feeling for me. I'm usually super nervous on live, and today I feel good because you're here.
Yay!
Miss Ileane. I don't know. I probably should be checking whether we're broadcasting on Facebook, but we should be coming to you on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. And Ms. Ileane and I are some of the few folks that are still love Twitter and Twitterers, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely. And Twitter is, for me, I love it because it's so easy and it doesn't take a lot of commitment of time. And, it's just quick to get your message out there. And then you also, now that they have all these wonderful tools like Twitter Spaces, and so the conversation can go even deeper, which I know we're going to get to that later, but I just thought I would mention it now.
I love it. I got to test, guys. I got to test spaces with Ms. Ileane, because you have to be right now invited to be a person that uses that. Is that correct?
As a host, and it initially just rolled out on iPhones only, but only certain people were given the permission to host, which means to actually start the Twitter space. But now they are also testing it on Android, once again, only to a few select people.
I did hear
Any
that if you were on Android, you could still join in. Is that correct?
Yes, and so uh, I don't know if everyone on Android has the access to join in. I think because Twitter is trying to be cautious and making sure they get it right before they roll it out to more people. And, they report bugs. Right now it's in beta, and beta means bugs. So we're really testing the waters to get all the bugs out, and then they can roll it out more broadly. And I think that is going to be coming in the next week or so. So you guys won't have to wait too long to have access to it.
That sounds great. I know that I definitely saw that some people were trying it on Androids, and that's kind of cool, because I know with Clubhouse, which a lot of people are talking about, with Clubhouse, that means that's only allowing right now iOS exclusively.
Yeah.
So
Yes. And, just to give people a little bit of a background, the difference with the Clubhouse is that the users are the ones who have the invitations to invite their friends who are also on iPhones to join Clubhouse. and you need to be in someone's contact list on their phone in order to get that invitation. So Twitter is doing their versions of invitation, but it's coming from Twitter. Now you can apply for Twitter Spaces, but like I said, it's coming out next week. So I don't even know if they're even reviewing the applications anymore because they know they're getting ready to roll it out. But on Clubhouse, I think that as soon as Twitter launches to everyone, I think that Clubhouse is going to have their Android version up soon because they hired some Android developers in the last few weeks. And I think that if nothing else, it should be ready for testing. And these two social audio tools are like really competing with one another right now. And I absolutely love that. And I love that for you as well, anybody who's watching, because they're fighting over us. So we have the upper hand, and
we love to be loved.
Yes, and it gives us options. So, some people, they just don't like Twitter Spaces, and some people just don't like Clubhouse, and that's okay. You don't have to like both or use both.
Right. And I think that it's completely. We don't want any of our apps to be a monopoly, except for, of course, our own websites. But we don't want to be like forced into, and that brings up another. Well, we'll start back at the beginning. You and I met learning about Anchor, which is the podcast radio that it was kind of came out as a radio station, a broadcast kind of like that, but it's really morphed as it's been bought by Spotify. It's really morphed into a full out podcasting app, and I think it's one of the easiest apps. I mean, just like StreamYard, these easy apps pull me in because I'm not super tech savvy like my guest, Miss Ileane, but but if I keep watching her, I keep learning. But so we talked about we met with Anchor, and in fact, you told somebody I could write about Anchor, and I appreciate that, Miss Sarah Arrow. If you're out there anywhere, we appreciate you. That was so fun. I really adored being part of that. That was a great experience, and you taught me a whole lot of things about Anchor, and everyone should try that for a free test if you're just testing podcasting, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's so easy. You can just use your phone. You don't even need to have expensive gear or anything like that. You could just have that microphone that's on your phone. Doesn't matter if you have Android or iPhone. It is totally embracing all the different platforms, because you can also use it from your desktop. Now, what I like to do is record from an app on my phone. Now, you can record with the Anchor app, but I use a different app, and it's called Backpack Studio. In fact, I have an episode of the podcast where I'm talking about it, and that's an iOS only app. But I just like the ease of being able to just import it right over into Anchor, or I can bring it onto my desktop if I need to do some editing for it. And that's what I've been doing, because I'm glad you brought up Anchor, because I just revived the podcast. I actually was on a bit of a hiatus there with one of the shows. Good morning, Barb T. USA is here over on the YouTube side. Thank you for joining, Barb.
Oh, I love Barb. I see her around. Hi, Barb.
Yeah. And so I usually will record on my phone, but then send it over to my desktop just to do a little editing, because I don't have like a script or anything like that. So I'm really most of the time just talking off the dome. So sometimes I need to edit little things out, or if I, misspeak or something like that. So I will do that, but I don't have to. You don't have to, because Anchor even has the editing tools where you could trim or cut out parts of your video where of your audio, I'm sorry, where you've made some kind of a flub or whatever. So Anchor, I highly recommend it. I still use it. I also use Libsyn, which is a paid podcasting host.
From
But
Pittsburgh.
oh yeah, they are in
They're
the Pittsburgh
located.
area. Yes,
Yes.
they are. But I still recommend Anchor for someone, especially if they're just getting
Beginning.
started.
Yeah.
And there was a time there where people were complaining about Anchor's terms of service. Don't worry, they changed it. Their terms of service. Anchor does not own your content. I have to say this because I know that has resonated with a lot of people and they still have that stuck in their head. And that's one of the reasons why they haven't used Anchor. And then also, there's this thing where you had a little bit of a challenge if you wanted to see all of your stats, especially the stats from Apple Podcast. But they have integrated a super easy way for you to make sure that you get your Apple Podcast stats. There's just a little code that you have to get from Apple Podcasts. When I say a code, it's just like a 6-digit code, like when you log into something. And then they verify that you're the owner based on your email address. And then you will get access to what's called Podcast Connect.
That's a
Over
hot tip
on
there, Miss
Apple.
Ileane. That's a hot tip because I've been using Anchor for a long time and I don't think I've used that little snippet because I thought, I mean, I can see how many views or whatever that come from, Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever on my Anchor analytics, but I didn't know there was a further step in. Haha.
Yes, and actually, I was working on a tutorial for it because you used to have to email Anchor, and it was a bunch of hoops that you had to jump through. But I know that I wasn't the only one that was doing this and wanted to be able to have access to those stats because, like 2 weeks after I did it, they put something on the interface that all you have to do now is once you get that code, you still have to send an email to Apple Podcasts because they want to prove that it's you, right? You don't want anybody to be able to claim your podcast. So Apple knows your email address and, they'll email you that code, and then Anchor has a place right there on your destinations page where you enter that code, save it, and within a day or less, Apple Podcasts will email you back and say, "Oh, you've claimed your podcast now." And so those were the two major.
And look, you're giving Barb new information too. How about that? She
Yeah, I
didn't
see
know.
Barb said
See,
that
she didn't know either. Oh, thank goodness I'm not the only one because I feel silly because I have been using Anchor for a long time
uh-huh.
and I didn't know. And another thing that I noticed that they just introduced, and I'm glad you brought it up in our pre-notes because I forgot to put it in the notes, but I did want to ask. I've been trying to find out what the integration is with WordPress. I understand that it's WordPress, but it's .com, not .org. Is that the
Cor-
stipulation? Can you
Correct.
tell us about that?
Yes, and so you can set up so that you can blog like almost like auto blogging. Once you publish your episode, first you got to go and you got to connect your WordPress.com into Anchor. All right. And from there, when you publish an episode, all those show notes that you've written can also be imported over into a blog post. And it will automatically create a blog post there for you with a nice player as well. And over on your WordPress.com blog.
But just .com.
Just.com. Yep.
Okay, because a lot of us pro bloggers are on WordPress.org.
Yes. And I do believe, as I was doing a little research for today, I do believe that there may be some type of a plugin that you can use for WordPress.org.
I just used a button and with my Gutenberg, and I use the button and then I have it like go directly to the Anchor show from the button. So
Good.
with the link, so it's been working real nice. It kind of looks like a feature on my WordPress page where it's, kind of highlighted like listen to the show with this big button. So, that way people can easily do it.
And
Hi,
I'm glad.
Swarthy.
Hi, Swarthy Daisy. And I'm glad you said your anchor show, because this is a good time for me to let everyone know the name of my podcast is
Oh, yes.
The Anchor Show.
That's right. I do remember that.
So it's theanchorshow.com, because I actually went even a step further, because I'm not all that fond of the anchor.fm page for me, but that would be anchor.fm/Ileane. But I wanted something with a nicer look and more like a website. And so I signed up.
It there?
Yes,
Anchorshow.com.
anchorshow.com. And you can see over there that I've got different pages there where you can see my episodes. You can see some of the testimonials or reviews that people have written for me. And then I actually can write articles there on top. And in addition to the podcast episodes, I can write articles there. But that's a hybrid situation there. So yeah. So, but there's so many things you can do with a podcast. And I'm glad we started really talking about this social audio. We were talking about Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse, but it's really something that you want to do. If you're going to be using social audio, you really want to think about going and making a podcast. Now, both Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces are other ways that you can create content for your podcast. On Clubhouse, you really just have to tell people that you're recording. Actually, Twitter has said that they are going to integrate recording features right into Twitter Spaces as well. And or you can do like my brilliant friend here, and you can live stream your podcast using StreamYard, or in my case, I use Ecamm Live, but I use StreamYard as well. And you can, once your recording is done, now with StreamYard, if you have the Pro plan, you have the choice of downloading the audio or the video. But it doesn't matter with Anchor, because Anchor will take your video file on desktop. You can't do this on mobile, on desktop, and they will convert it for you into audio.
That's awesome.
It's like
I
drag
love their
and drop.
desktop. At first I just used I did everything on the phone, and then I don't know, it probably was you that mentioned the desktop, and I started using the desktop Anchor app, and I really do like it. In the case of StreamYard, now they just started allowing you to download a audio file from your live stream. You don't have to even download a video. You can get straight up audio, which is
Speaking of StreamYard, I just want to give them a shout out.
Oh, look at you. Look at you showing off. You got all the mugs. I saw you with the TubeBuddy mug last time.
TubeBuddy, Ecamm Live, and StreamYard.
Oh, you are spoiled. I love
my mug collection. I'll get more though.
That's very cool. Shout out to StreamYard. It is fun. And I also want to talk about another live streaming app that you're into, but we'll get to that in a second. Let me make sure I cover.
Yeah, that's the next mug I'm going for.
Yeah.
We can, you know what? We can talk about that right now.
You want to?
Yes,
okay, yeah, because we just covered it's a good idea to record your podcast, even if you're doing videos live, because again, it's about repurposing. Now, one thing I want to just touch on when you were mentioning about getting the manuscripts, like from Anchor or whatever, if with the .com with their new integration, I see it differently than some people. Just take their manuscript of a live show, and they call that the blog post, and I don't like that personally. For one,
you mean the transcript?
Yeah, I feel like for one thing, it's not a repurposed piece of content. It's the same content in a new form. You see what I'm saying? So I like to listen to a show and then kind of write around the conversation and maybe add to it, or I don't like to just reiterate a transcript because I feel like that's not a repurposed piece of content. Does anyone feel that way, or is it just me? I kind of think it's more personalized that way too. And
Well, Swarthy Daisy is saying thank you, so she must. That's like an amen from Swarthy Daisy, right? So I
cool.
agree. But actually, for me, here's what I recommend for folks: get feedback from your audience, because you may have people in your audience that like I have a couple of friends, two people that come to mind. I'm going to give them a shout out, and that is Mike Alton. A lot of you may know him. He works with Agora Pulse now, and Mitch Mitchell. These are my longtime blogging friends, and they love to read. So they would be perfectly happy with you having the transcript word for word and additional show notes. That would make them happy. I know it would. Me personally, give me a video or give me an audio, and I'm happy. I don't read as much as I used to because I have my smart assistant over here, Alexa or Lexi. She reads my audiobooks to me. And, usually when I'm reading something on the internet, I'm glossing over it. I have an app called Pocket that will translate and, make any blog post that I send over to Pocket will turn it into audio.
Really?
I got all kinds of tools to convert.
I use Pocket. I didn't know Pocket did those things. Okay. You are always like 10 steps ahead, girl. One of the reasons I'm thrilled to talk to you, because it's hard. I had like 200 questions I had to try to like narrow because you're so into everything.
But so my thing, what I want you guys to do is try as much as you can to talk to your audience so that you can find out, like, is there a need for you to bother with transcripts?
Right.
Or would they just rather have that abbreviation? The worst thing would be that you have this person who was, let's just say if it was Sue Ann, and she said, Miss Ileane, I really wish that you would do whatever. And because I'm just like, nope, I'm not doing it this way. I'm not doing it that way. And because I never talked to her, I didn't know that, she wants me to do transcripts or whatever.
Maybe the whole transcript is a good idea in that case. That's a good. That's why these discussions are so good, because that's another way to look at it, and I like that. And speaking of Mike Alton, by the way, he has turned me on to Agora Pulse, and I'm just going to put a little quick shout out to that, because that is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I don't know about anyone else. It helps you, like, instead of just doing social media automation, it actually allows you to strategize and plan and really promote in a strategic, orderly fashion. It helps organize your head or what you're trying to plan in other ways. You kind of have it all right there with the way they have it set up, how they queue and dashboard it and label. It's just amazing. So I just want to throw that in real quick. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. And then I mentioned my friend Mitch Mitchell, so I just give his website a shout out, and that's I'm Just Sharing. So he's got a bunch of websites. Okay, I just told you the man loves to read and write, and he does have a YouTube channel. But it's I'm Just Sharing
.com.
Yes, is one of his websites, one of many. So
I'll put that up for us. I'm Just Sharing. Shout out to Mitch Mitchell. I know the name
without the apostrophe. Just because you can't.
Because I see.
Yeah, you can't use apostrophe on. Yeah.
And look at this StreamYard app. I can just edit and stick that up there like that really quick and make the correction.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned StreamYard again, because I didn't really give the big shout out that I wanted to give to Gage and Dan. I'm so, so happy for them in the way that they've grown. I've watched their journey from when they were just reaching out to folks, as they had reached out to me, and they were just reaching out to folks like via email, would you like to try StreamYard and so forth. And then, now they've got a team, they've got a crew, and then they also got acquired by Hopin, and it was a big payout. And so I do want to say, if anyone was thinking about using StreamYard for their live streaming, and, there's so many different apps out here, you're not sure which one to try. If, you want to use a browser-based tool, then StreamYard is the way to go. Start with that, and then you'll see, what some of the others are doing. Now, with that, Sue Ann and I said that we were going to transition into talking about another app. So you ready for that?
Real
Sue Ann?
quick, can you answer a question for Barb?
Oh, sure.
She wants to know, is Agorapulse free beyond 30 days for one user and 3 social profiles?
Oh, Barb, honestly, although we talked about Mike Alton and being an ambassador for Agorapulse, I don't use it, and I never have.
And I use it, but I'm fairly new, so I don't know the answer to that question, but I sure can find out. I'm sure Mike would be more than happy to let you know. I know that they did change. I know that they recently made a change as to how they offer their free. I do know there was an adjustment in that, but since that didn't pertain to what I was doing, I probably didn't pay as close attention to it. But I know they did change something about how they offer it free. So Barb, we'll definitely look into that. And I think the notes, tell me, Ms. Ileane, the notes stay on YouTube so that I can follow up with her and give her that info.
Yeah, the chat will stay on YouTube. Yes, it will.
Okay.
And I won't forget, because I talk to Barb all the time, so I won't forget to follow up with her.
I think I met Barb maybe through Ross Brand, our mutual friend Ross Brand.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because he knows everyone, huh? So interesting. So the app you were, I think, introducing is one I've been watching, and I think I'm going to try it too, because look, I like StreamYard because of their 3 principles: the ease of use, the professional layout, and the reliability of the live streaming from the cloud. In other words, if you don't understand what we're saying, I didn't at first, that means that your stream is not, your production isn't based out of your computer so heavily. It's out of a cloud. You give your info up to the cloud, and the cloud puts it together to send it to your channels. And so Zoom, for an example, you have to download software onto your computer, and that's not the case with StreamYard. In case anyone doesn't understand that distinction, I'll just give you a little background there. But the other one, now I'm a little bit like, since I'm iffy and not as advanced in technology as you are, I tend to get on something and try to just master it. But there's so many other things, and I'm actually thinking of going crazy and trying the other live streaming app that Ms. Ileane's going to talk about. I think it's called the Haps app. Will you tell us about that?
Yes, it's Haps. And actually what you would do is you would go to Haps, HAPPS.TV. Haps.tv. I think that's the link. You could use my link as a referral, and you can put that one up. And that will be Ileane.link/Haps. Ileane, that's ILEANE.link/Haps. HAPPS.
Do you still need the TV on there? Haps.tv or just Haps?
Just Haps.
Okay.
It's my branded link from, I use Rebrandly to brand my links. So it's Ileane.link/Haps. There you go.
Is that it? Okay.
That's it. Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so
I'm going
much.
to put you on to talk about it, because it's really an interesting app. And I think to me, it has a flavor of Anchor when they first started, because it seems like you talk about the community aspect of it. And that was one of the things, because Anchor, you used to be able to, well, I guess you can still call people and leave messages to their Anchor station, which is, community. And I feel like that was one of the things that stood out about apps, but tell us.
Okay. First, I want to say, as of today, there's only a few more days left for Periscope. Twitter is decided to shut down Periscope. And it was just in time for these Periscope streamers. I wasn't a huge Periscope streamer, but I did for a while there. But there was this great community of streamers that weren't going to have a home. Now, I had just started using Haps right before Twitter made this announcement. So I was already enjoying it. It's a browser based streaming app. It's free. All levels are free. You can multi-stream with it. So it's in a lot of ways, it's similar to StreamYard. However, Haps is still in beta. So it doesn't have that stability that StreamYard has. Okay. So with all that said, when Twitter announced that they were shutting down Periscope, Haps, as far as I have seen, is the only platform, the only live streaming app that reached out to the Periscope community and said, hey, what do you guys need? They are trying to make it so that the feature set on Haps can match or mimic some, not all, but some of the features that were present on Periscope and make these folks feel at home. Now, the difference with Haps and a StreamYard, with StreamYard, we have our destinations we can go to, right? We can go to YouTube, Facebook, and even with StreamYard, you can also go to LinkedIn. But StreamYard is browser-based, just like Haps. However, with Haps, you also can go live to the Haps community. So Barb is asking a question, what's the Haps monetization model? One thing that Haps does is I think of it as a creator economy. They have a way that we as users can donate to one another. And one of the ways you can do that is through buying what they call coins. So I can buy up a bunch of coins and I could spend my day viewing broadcasts on Haps and donating to folks. I also can subscribe to them. And now Haps takes a cut out of any time I buy coins, or we as streamers, and even if you're not a streamer, you're just a person who likes to view live streams, you can purchase coins, and that's a direct monetization, right, for Haps. So, and you can give those coins to other streamers, but also you can subscribe to other streamers as well. And Haps takes a portion of that. I don't remember the percentage. I just know that it's minimal. It's not that much. So they have a monetization in place. But right now, what's really exciting is that Haps is doing challenges for referrals. And that's why earlier right now you see that my referral link is there for you, because if you join with my link and you go live for 4 weeks in a row, you only have to go live once, but 4 weeks in a row, I would get $25.
That is awesome. And your sound seems to have left us.
Is it back now?
Now it's back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the little notification that it went out, but all I had to do was unmute.
Just for a quick sec.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you were saying that that there's a monetization where you can actually bring in people and then get an actual like not their coins, actual $25.
Yeah, you go live for 4 weeks in a row, then I would get $25 for referring you, and you would get $25. So here's the other thing.
I'm going to have to go live so I can get you $25 for
that too.
times.
And also, as you refer your friends, they come in with your referral link, and you could potentially get $25 when your friend goes live for 4 weeks in a row. So it's already happened for me for 2 folks. One is my good buddy, Roz Bundy. Shout out to her. And another one is someone that I didn't even know. In fact, I still haven't been introduced to this young lady, but she was the first one who went live the 4 weeks in a row already and already got the $25 in my kitty.
Wow, that's so cool, because I think that people have a hard time monetizing it, like on like YouTube, the most popular video channel, because you have to have such a big, now not a problem for you, but because you have 2 million, is it, downloads of your YouTube stuff, that which is unbelievable.
But yeah, and I'm so glad you brought
But
that
you
up.
can't get in there. It takes a, like, I'm having trouble, even getting subscribers or any of that. It's for a while, but I mean, I'm sure it takes a long time.
I'm sorry. Did you?
Oh, could you not hear?
Now I can't hear you. Sheesh.
Uh-oh.
So I had a little mic problem, but hang on one second. Let me go in here in the back end here.
While she's checking on
And
that, I can hear her. She can't hear me. And then she got a new mic.
Looks like it's okay now.
I love the little interlude.
Nope, can't hear you.
Oh no.
I'm going to refresh.
Okay. And that's another nice thing about StreamYard, you guys. If you have an issue with somebody while you're having a live stream, they can just refresh and come back into the app using the same link that you brought them in on. And they refresh, and voila, add her to the stream. Are you back? In video and audio, it looks like. See how easy that was, you guys? So that's one of the things about the reliability of StreamYard right there. And I think I did see you actually do that on the Haps app the other day, where there was an issue and you just refreshed and came back live in the same way. So that's kind of awesome. And we were talking about how it's difficult to break into YouTube and how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm having those audio issues again. So let's see, what can I do to try to avoid this?
She just got a new mic, an M7 Shure.
Switch my audio. Testing,
Are you guys
testing.
hearing her? Because I am. She's not hearing me. Is everyone else hearing?
Hang on one second. Testing, testing. Testing, it's not working.
I can hear you.
One more time. Refresh.
Well, I'm hearing her, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Ms. Ileane, but I love the information that she's sharing with us. We've already learned Swarthy could hear you. Oh, see, she can't hear herself, but we're hearing her, I think. But we'll let her refresh one more time. Thank you for letting me know. And she's back. I got a note that people can hear both of us, even though you're not hearing us.
Sorry. So I switched to a different mic, guys. I don't know.
Is that your new Shure mic? I was just saying that you got a new Shure MV7, is it? I heard such great things about that.
Yes, but I don't know if there's an internet issue or what. So
you never know.
I apologize for now being on my Logitech Brio mic. But hopefully that'll.
Oh, did you get the Brio? I heard that's the new Logitech, and I heard good things about it.
Oh gosh, I've had this Brio for 4 years, maybe.
No way.
Yeah,
really? I just heard about it like in the last 6 months.
Yeah, no.
See, you're so ahead.
Yeah, no, they did come out with a new mic, but it's not the Brio. I'm sorry, new webcam, but it's I don't know the name of it, because I was like, I'm happy with my Brio. I'm not switching, so I can't recall the name, but they did come out with another.
I'm using a Logitech too. A lot of people are doing like the fancier, cameras, even DSLRs and things, and plugging them in and doing all these stuff. That's over my head right now.
But I want to say one more thing before we move on from Haps. We were talking about how, you're on YouTube, you want to get monetized, and it's just taking forever to get monetized. The difference with Haps is pretty much it does not have that long wait time to get monetized, but it does have a higher threshold before you actually get money in your bank account. So in other words, once you get monetized on YouTube, you only have to reach $100. Now it takes forever. I know it took me like 3 years or something. I mean, I've been on YouTube for a long time, so things were a lot different then. But with Haps, is the threshold is $200 currently. But what they're doing is they're doing all these contests, because they did another contest prior where you had to have like 250 live viewers, but that contest is over, so I'm not going to go into it. But I completed that one as well. So they're giving us extra incentives. Now, I don't know how long that's going to go on, but I just want you guys to get over there, because I see there's a bunch of folks now, because as the days wind down on Periscope, folks are coming over to Haps. And so I definitely want you to get over there.
You use Miss Ileene's link right there and hop on that, because I think it'll be good. And Barb's saying that you got the Brio when it was reasonably priced. Everything was reasonably priced in the computer world until COVID, huh? It feels like it anyway. I mean, even everything I've noticed, and getting a hold of things, people have been saying is trickier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
The funny thing that I've heard Ross talk about it and a couple other people talk about it. The funny thing is that the YouTubers like Ms. Ileane and you guys that are really experienced at doing lives and all of that are really blowing away like network TV with the quality of your broadcast and sounds and looks, and it's kind of interesting, and I love it. Because I think that's so great. Now, Barb is also saying that her Haps TV is still broken for Facebook, and they still are she's still waiting for months for them to fix it. They better get on that.
You know what, Barb? I was thinking about that the other day when you mentioned that you were having problems with logging in, connecting your Instagram onto your Facebook. So I don't know. It just I'm
Facebook
wondering.
has so many glitches for things lately. It's crazy.
Facebook.
Could that be part of it? It might be.
It could be. I don't know. But I can tell you that Facebook has changed so many things. And for those of you who may get an offer from Facebook to convert your page over to what they're calling the new pages experience, I have a video that I want you guys to watch. You can just go to my channel, and before you make that switch, watch that video, and you'll see there's so many people in the comments that are saying to me that they switched and they want to switch back, or they want to switch back again, and it's just a hot mess with what's going on.
So the new experience they're promoting is a bad experience. That's what you're saying.
If you find that it's right for you, it can be good. But the problem is when people switch, I switched on one of my pages. But when you find out when people switch, and then let's just say it goes like for a couple weeks, you've been posting, you've been going live, and then you say, oh no, I want to switch back to classic. Well, you lose everything that you posted while you were on the new experience. Oh, okay. So if Haps has said that it was their issue, Barb, then okay, I'm not sure why that hasn't got fixed. I go to they do a weekly sort of a town hall, kind of like StreamYard does, where people come in and asking questions, and they ask all kinds of questions. When are you guys going to fix this? When are you guys going to fix that? But I haven't heard anyone else say that they have the issue with Facebook. So I really wish there was something that I could do to help you get that connected, but.
Well, while we're talking about that, we're talking about podcasts can be audio only. Some could be audio or video. I know some podcasters put their podcast on YouTube, even if they do it as an audio only. They'll just put it up there as another way to repurpose it, and they'll just put, like their thumbnail while they're playing the audio, or sometimes they'll put kind of a slide share. So in other words, they're not doing a live podcast video like we are, but they're at least trying to, expand it with YouTube that way. So my question then is it more important to have one consistent medium, or is it okay to do it both ways in your opinion? Or should you go to video format with your podcast in this day?
Well, I definitely think it's something you should test. This is time for me to give a shout out to my daughter. Her name is Nicole Purvey, and she has YouTube channel BetterThanSuccess. And I'm kind of adminning her channel. She does all the videos, but I'm adminning the channel. And one of the things that we have tested, because she also has a podcast, she uses Libsyn, just for the record. She doesn't use Anchor. And so we will put up a episode of the podcast. Like, there's been a few episodes that were really valuable content, and they did really well on the podcast side. And also, it could be because the topic is trending and it came up again. Like, she interviewed one of her colleagues who, she's a lawyer here in Philly, and they were talking about Airbnbs, the legalities of them, and all the rules and regulations here in Philadelphia. And now that topic of Airbnb came up again because of COVID and all that stuff. And so put that episode back out there again. Also, just as with a still image there, and it's doing fine. I mean, it's not doing better than her videos, but it's doing fine. And nobody's complained. Nobody said, oh gosh, that's just a still image, So I think that is definitely something that folks can experiment with.
Yeah, that's why I'm experimenting here with doing the podcast live, but it's been fun for me because I am so uncomfortable going on video that it's like it's making me step out of my comfort zone, and I'm also trying technology I haven't tried before, and so I feel good about that. Barb's talking about her live, she's saying maybe with the Haps app and her large number of admins.
Yeah, groups, Facebook groups that she's an admin of. That could be it, Barb. Yeah.
Because you're confusing them where to go, maybe. Where do we go? There's so many Barb places.
Yeah. So
well,
yeah.
Try the Haps app if you haven't, and I hope they get Barb straightened out there. Hopefully, she's using it maybe even on other channels in the meantime. Because the thing is, you kind of think like there's two, I guess, schools of thought. Because you don't want to be running around doing shiny objects unless you're Ms. Ileane and you're responsible for telling the rest of us what's shiny. But for some of us, you do want to get better at what you're doing before you move to the next tool. But on the other hand, if you do the Haps app, which is another form of live streaming, it would be another way to practice and another way to maybe find a new community, I'm thinking. What do you think?
Yep. And I think there's one more that we need to talk about before we close out.
Oops. Sorry.
I do want to look at the time and see. And so if you could you take down that Ileane.link/Haps, because I want to try something on my side. Sue Ann, thank you. And I'm going to make it bigger because it didn't. Okay, so I'm doing this over on the Ecamm Live side. Sorry, I had to reposition it because of the little snafu we had earlier. But we were also going to talk today about buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee. And this is another way that those who like your content can show support for you. And I have a buy me a coffee page there, and it's buymeacoffee.com/Ileane. Or you can use my short link, which is Ileane.link/coffee. But the reason why I want to tell you about this, not so much that I want you to buy me a coffee, which, it would be fine if you did, but also because I want you to get your own coffee. This is the link that I really want you to write down, because there is always someone out there. As long as you're putting valuable content out into the world, you're either educating or mentoring or entertaining people with your content. They want to show some appreciation for what you're doing. So get your own coffee. So you go to Ileane.link/get your own coffee. I started my page about a year ago, and I got a couple of coffees here and there. And then I kind of didn't really talk about it. But now just about every time you see me go live, I talk about it, because you just never know. And most of the time, people will buy you multiple coffees. It just all depends upon someone's budget. But, you can set the price. And it doesn't have to be buy me a coffee. It could be buy me a tea, buy me a pizza, buy me a beer. You can change it to whatever you wish. And you also they integrated features that are very similar to Patreon now as well. So you also can do memberships. You can offer exclusive content. And they are working on offering podcast content, private podcast content, so that when you have folks that sign up for your Buy Me a Coffee page and you want to deliver them some exclusive content as a member, you could do that also with audio. So I wanted to make sure that I let you know, not only can you buy me a coffee, but I want you to get your own coffee.
I am definitely going to sign up with your link today to buy me a coffee. And one of the things I noticed in looking at it, since you mentioned it the first time, and that's why I put it in our questions today, I noticed that you can do some cool things. Like you can put a little icon on your YouTube channel so that people can click right up by where you click on Twitter or your social handles. You can actually put a little buy me a coffee icon right on your YouTube channel, and maybe someone will buy you a coffee or a pop or a beer or a dessert or whatever your pleasure. And so I thought that was really cool that it had the option of doing that little icon in there. And I imagine, maybe I can't remember if I looked into it now, but I imagine you could even do that on your website, like you mentioned doing it on your
Absolutely.
Patreon site. Why not on?
I have it on my blogs so that it's just easy for anybody to.
You might be floating in coffee.
I have been. I got to be honest.
That's awesome.
My friends have been very, very supportive of me and have gone over to my Buy Me a Coffee.
I'm going to try it. I would love to have that happen. That would be so fun if somebody said, yeah, you're fun to watch, or I like that you're trying. You're at least out there trying, girl. I'll buy you a coffee. Well, I think that's cool.
Anybody who signs up under me, you can guarantee that I'm going to buy you a coffee.
And look at this. And look at this. Barb's going to sign up. I'm going to sign up. There's two right there. She
All
said it's the
right.
best tip of the day. See, I knew we'd get good tips from you. I think we've gotten several good tips from you. Is there anything, Ms. Ileane, that I didn't ask you about that is something that we really want to cover? Or we'll just have to do this another time to get the rest?
Well, I just want to say to anybody who's listening, and if you're thinking that, you know, tech
Whoops.
savvy, or you're thinking that, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do all this stuff, you don't have to do everything. You just try to take off chunks and pieces of things that you can do to just constantly keep adding on and growing. And don't worry in the beginning, like a lot of people are camera shy or they hate the sound of their voice, so they don't want to podcast or whatever. First of all, if you're new and you're worried about live streaming and getting on camera or anything like that, just remember in the beginning, other than your friends that really want to support you, nobody else is going to be there because you haven't started. And everybody, even the biggest YouTubers and streamers, will tell you the first few times they go live are not that great. But you can't get better if you don't get started. So get started, get all of those first time newbie jitters out of the way, right, Sue Ann?
Hey, let me ask you this. This is a biggie. One last important question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You are a professional at building community, and you are a professional at I think one of the keys to becoming successful as a live streamer, and that would be personality. I would say, like, how do you become a personality? What is your best trick for building that beautiful community, that the beautiful people that come to see Ms. Ileane?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, for one thing, I think it's very important that you do, and you're doing it today. You try to answer every question. You try to say hi to everyone that comes to your stream. You say, well, only one person came. Well, that person should feel special when we're done, right? So, of course, you start off with a smile. Oh, I love how you're smiling right now, Sue. And smiling makes you feel good inside, and you want to make whoever is watching you feel good. And so I just think that you just have to be caring and giving and not thinking, oh, I gotta sell this ebook today. So I bet, because that's not gonna, people don't relate to that. They're not going to connect with that. As time goes by, and they see that you're someone who offers value, whatever that value may be, because everybody has expertise in something, even teenagers, even younger than that. There's some expertise that you have that you can share, and you just have to find your sweet spot. It took me a while. In the beginning, I was all over the place with the stuff that I was writing on my blog, because I started with blogging and YouTube, and I was writing about all this kind of stuff, and people didn't care about that. They wanted my tutorials. Perfect, because I like doing tutorials and they like getting my tutorials. So that's my sweet spot. You
I
guys
love
have
that
to,
you mentioned earlier that it took you 3 years before you really got any
oh,
progress.
money on YouTube
Yeah,
before
and
I,
that makes me feel better because
oh yeah.
I haven't been on there that long yet. But I mean, well, with blogging too, it takes years.
It
People
takes a
think you
while.
can, come on and you're a superstar, and that's not how it
Yeah,
works.
be patient. That is probably the biggest advice I can give anybody, especially when they're just starting out. You have to be patient. And also, as far as community goes, you can't just think about yourself. I bought coins on Haps so that in the morning when I wake up, I see broadcast and I don't have to know the broadcaster. It could be somebody I don't even know. You know what I do? I go and I give them coins, just like Buy me a coffee. I know a lot of my friends have signed up for buy me a coffee, or even if I don't know somebody and I hear they have a buy me a coffee, oh, I'm going over there, even if I, to buy them at least one coffee. Because basically that's what I do with my buy me a coffee money.
You
Buy
buy someone
other,
else a coffee.
buy other creators coffee. This
I
is
love
what
it.
builds community, because you might be the only person that ever and guess what? They'll never forget you.
I think that's excellent advice. And I think that is what people forget. They look, you're trying to do the best you can. You're worrying about all your production. You're doing all your things, and you kind of start looking at you. You shouldn't be looking at you. You should be looking at what can I put out there. That's why, like, I want to come in and like get on the subject, and I want to be talking about important things or things that are helping people learn. And you do that every time. And so I really appreciate you sharing all the learning today with me. And this video will go on. If you're watching the replay, still pipe in, still ask questions for Ms. Ileane. She's awesome. She's answered my questions since 2015, I think. so she's really cool about that. You don't have to be afraid to ask questions. And I think that I noticed, honestly, that's what I think you do differently than every other live streamer. I've been really studying live streaming for the last year pretty closely, and I've been attending a lot of live streaming. And what I notice you do different is people. You talk to everybody who pops in, and I'm still building an audience. Maybe no one will pop in, but I do. I get so excited to see them that I can't help but say hello. So Barb and is Swarthy Daisy one, like,
One
is
of my,
that together? Because I said Swarthy like it's a first name, but she got Swarthy Daisy.
it's two separate names.
Okay.
Ashley, and her real name is Erica, and she's one of my buddies. In fact, I did a collaboration with her earlier this year. It was not just me and her, it was a bunch of us. It was the YouTubers Unite conference that was here on YouTube. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find it and you'll see everybody's links. And we all did live streams that day, and it was really amazing. And I told my daughter that I was getting interviewed, but she still called me anyway.
Okay.
You probably realized it because she stopped. You probably realized it because I want to talk to my grandson.
Well, I can't blame you for that, Miss Granny. Now you're Granny, a YouTuber, a blogger, a podcaster.
Grammie, you got to get it right now. Grammie, Grammie.
Grammy.
I have to put that I in there because that's in my name. Ileane.
I love it. There is a me in Ileane. No. That's my funny thing is there's no I in team, but there is a ME because everyone has to participate in the team, right?
That's right. Well, I had so much fun talking to you today, Sue Ann.
Thank you for your time, and have fun, Grammie, with your little one.
And thanks for coming out, Barb and Swarthy Daisy, and anybody who watches this in the replay. Just get in touch with me or follow me around.
Yeah, follow Ms. Ileane around. I thank you for being here today, and we're just going to sign off together because that was a great hour. Take care, everybody.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time on the Mix, Sizzle, and Shake Your Business podcast, live on video sometimes, including today. And we appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Ms. Ileane.
Stay beautiful.
Stay beautiful. I like it.